This is the Chancellor's Report from 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR. Featuring Mark Money, Chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And here's your host, WUWM General Manager David Lee.
Hi, thank you for joining us on the UWM Chancellor's Report here on 89.7 WUWM. I'm David Lee, General Manager of the station, and I'm here today with UWM Chancellor Mark Money. Hi, Mark.
Hey, David.
UWM is known for having, of course, students of all ages, but in the summertime, you'll find folks as young as 5 years old taking classes on campus. Why? Because they're enrolled in the UWM's College for Kids and Teens, which is what we're here to talk about today. To talk about this fun-filled learning opportunity, we have Ben LeDuc, Director of UWM's College for Kids and Teens. We also have Tony Lane, an alum of the program and UWM graduate, and we have Jacqueline Kirungi, an international doctoral student at UWM who manages supplies for the program. I'm so excited to learn more about this. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Mark, help us out here. As a college, why is the College for Kids and Teens so important to UWM and to the broader Milwaukee community?
Well, thanks, David. Thanks for having us all, and I thank our guests in advance. This is a really special topic. It is fun. It is enjoyable. And this is really, when we're talking about committed to lifelong learning, a lot of times that means after you've graduated, come on back to us. This is a different meaning. This is like truly lifelong learning, starting really at about the youngest age. Yeah. And so it's wonderful to have this opportunity to really be able to engage students, learners, at the youngest of ages in terms of when they really are capable of being independent, autonomous learners. And they're so inquisitive, they're so engaged, and it's so wonderful to bring all the array of different resources, educational skills, and enjoyment of learning to a younger audience. It helps them prepare for things in their future, whether it's in the K-12 education system or actually, as you'll hear today, individuals really thinking ahead about their careers and then how they work things all the way through. I'm really pleased that our School of Continuing Education is able to house and do this, but it also is a wonderful adjunct to our Children's Learning Center, which is one of the best educational programs in the state of Wisconsin, and this is just a wonderful way to reinforce that. And I can't tell you what a positive experience this has been for so many people who go on and become alumni of UWM, but they got their start here.
I love it. In preparation for this episode, I sort of reflected back on my journey as a student, and I don't remember being given this opportunity of like where I grew up. And so this is really, really special. Ben, can you tell us a little bit about the College for Kids and Teens?
Yeah, definitely. So College for Kids and Teens has been on the college campus of UWM since 1980. So we're celebrating our 45th year in existence. We are predominantly a summer program, over 8 weeks each summer. We offer programming for K-5 through 12th grade students in 2-week and 1-week sessions, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily with 3 classes a day. They are all youth enrichment programs that are hands-on project-based learning opportunities with local teachers and faculty and staff at the university working for us. We do a lot of different type of programming in STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
So as I was thinking about this, the corollary that came to my mind was, is this camp?
So it's more of an enrichment program. It's more like a college-like experience. The students are coming from class to class. They're moving across campus. They're going to different buildings. In lots of ways, they're getting a real college-like experience, especially in those older pre-college age groups of 6th through 12th grade. They're taking pre-college coursework where they're getting into the same labs that students take on campus. They're doing jewelry and metalsmithing or blacksmithing in the art department. They're doing freshwater science out on Lake Michigan. They're doing all sorts of different things that college experiences for students would be as well.
That's really cool. So how has the program grown and evolved over the last 40 plus years?
So we started as like a lot of youth programs, kind of on a smaller scale. It was more for school-age children. It wasn't really a pre-college program at that time. Over the years, we've grown and grown and grown to the point in the last couple of years, we reach approximately 1,000 students every summer on campus, anywhere from 200 to 300 kids each session, more than 3,000 enrollments, and we've had up to about 80 different teachers teach for us every summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of our guests today participated in the College for Kids in Teens program and went on to attend UWM, which is incredible. Tony, can you tell us a little bit about why you enrolled in the program as a kid?
Sure. So back in middle school, I was exposed to a tech class, and we had to design, draft, and create our 3D model of a house. And that's pretty much what sparked my interest. And then my mom works for the School of Continuing Education, and she told me about the opportunity that there is an architectural class provided by UWM College for Kids. And she enrolled me into that, and I got exposed to that.
When you were choosing a college to go to, was it predestined that you'd end up at UWM, or did the program sort of help you kind of like understand the offerings and the ways in which it could help you get to your current career?
I would say that the program did help me out. Being exposed to taking the class and actually learning how to make 3D models and draft in the syrup building itself. Actually, it was pretty much an enriching experience. So I think that definitely drove that.
So we should tell people that you're also an architect now, right?
I would say no.
But you work in architecture. You work in the field.
Yes, I do work in the field.
Yeah. So it's thanks to UWM and to this College for Kids and Teens program.
Yes,
That's awesome. So working in the field, what do you do in the field?
Oh, so currently I am working at Harwood Engineering. It is the sister company to Zimmerman Architects. So we worked hand in hand together, and I am currently aspiring to become now an electrical designer. But we work anything from commercial to residential buildings.
Mark, you and I oftentimes in these shows talk a lot about how UWM prepares the future workforce of our region. I think, judging by Tony's example, and probably with a lot of other examples like Tony, it's not unfair to say that potentially somebody could be exposed to something at the College for Kids program and then do the thing years later, right?
Absolutely. You know what I think is so great, and you heard this early from Ben in our conversation, this is a fun way to engage our learners at any age. And what's really neat is that you not only can lay the tracks, but you also can find blind alleys. And what I mean by that is you might think Tony's experience could have been he liked 3D design. But then when he got into the class and he saw what was involved, it's like, no, I like something different about that, or I don't like that at all. That's okay. What a great way to experience things and say, that isn't really for me. I thought I was going to like this particular type of program, and it's a blind alley, but then I go and find something I really do like. So it's really wonderful. And if you think about the array of offerings, this is incredible. If you were to look at the catalog in our College for Kids and Teens, you'd be blown away. When Ben talked about 80 faculty, 3,000 registrants, 1,000 students during the summer, art, acting, writing, all these STEAM fields from math, engineering, computer science. I didn't even remember this, but our Northwestern Mutual Data Science Institute is now participating, and our Lubar Entrepreneurship Center is now participating in College for Kids and Teens. You can get exposure. Think about that world that's opened up to you, and absolutely the career tracks, and this just reinforces exactly what you asked about in terms of what UWM does is 5,300 students per year. Think about that, over 5,300 students graduating into job-ready fields and job demand fields, whether it's healthcare, engineering, computer science, all the different liberal arts, humanities, and things that really make our economy hum with highly qualified talent that started their education, for many of them, with College for Kids and Teens.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of go off of what the chancellor said. He hit it right on the nose when he said that the students get this opportunity to see if a field is right for them, and I think a lot of times in Tony's case, he got to take some classes that helped him to reinforce that belief. Like, this is the field I want to go towards. A lot of times when I talk to parents about specifically our certificate programs, we do 3 certificate programs for high school students. One in data sciences, as the chancellor mentioned, our partnership with Northwestern Mutual's Data Science Institute. We also do them with the architecture department and with Peck School of the Arts. When I explain it to parents, sometimes I call it an intro to the intro. You're going to take classes that aren't as heavy. They're not as engaged to the point where you have to do grades. You're taking classes for fun. They're hands-on. They still have a lot of that rigor that a freshman level course might have, but it gives the students a chance to see, well, is this really the field I want to go into before they're taking out those college loans? They're learning, like, this is the field I really want to do, and that's a big part of what's made our program grow over the last couple of years.
So Tony, bring Tony back in here just really quickly. Did you know that doing 3D modeling and that was the thing you wanted to do, or is that something you found in the program?
Ooh, that's definitely a great question. Well, I went from 3D modeling for the models that you see of replicated buildings to actually 3D modeling in the digital world.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much what really sparked my interest for sure. So that was something that I was later taught when I was in college, and because of that, that actually helped me, help my career take off. And I would say definitely it helped. It was a big influence.
That's really great. So we also have Jacqueline here, who is a doctoral student who is in charge of making this magical world as magical as it can be with all the supplies. What's it like to do that, to be able to provide the things for these kids to interact with and to sort of augment their learning and sort of begin them on this learning path?
It's a fun job.
Yeah, I love it.
I like it because coming from an 8-month intensive book reading and writing, and then spending 3 months doing a lot of packaging and seeing different colors, different designs of different things, I just like that job.
Yeah.
But also, it's more about also detail-oriented work, effective communication. Like, I've learned a lot with it because we learn effective communication, but until you're out there, that's when you know how to do effective communication, right from the director to the purchasing officer to the teacher, to make sure that whatever they demand is on table on time and in the right quantities. It's a lot and it involves everyone. So it's my job, but I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
So I love that kind of collegial, collaborative, taking each one's request equally important. Like, no matter what class, like, you don't say I don't know it, but if you engage the teacher, engage the director, engage the purchasing officer, it just brings all things together. Yeah.
I want to reflect back on this idea of how diverse the programming is. My guess is that you've been asked to get a lot of stuff, a lot of supplies.
For sure.
What's some of the most interesting and maybe strangest things you've had to procure?
Interestingly, the strangest things we don't procure them. Because
that's a request you don't fulfill.
The strange things are not purchased because it's strange in a sense that you can't get it from the market. You can't, but you need to talk to people to get it.
Yeah.
For example, like my first time, they asked me to produce used boxes for used cereal boxes.
Huh.
That's something you can't go and buy from Walmart.
Right. I could have brought you one this morning.
And so you begin to ask yourself, should we buy and pour out the cereals and get it to the class? And all of a sudden, when you engage your colleagues, people begin thinking, I have kids, I can talk to so-and-so. I think I'll get 2 boxes here. I'll get 2 boxes the other day. So by the time the class is running the next week, you have all these boxes ready for the student. And so that's, for me, the strange part of the program. Like, you can't purchase this, but it has to be on the table for the teacher to use it. And so, yeah.
That ought to be a new segment in the supply chain class, the logistics class. How do you get empty cereal boxes? I love it. But you're also a doctoral student.
Yes,
how has working with the program enhanced your experience as a PhD student at the university?
Oh, yeah. I think I always say that teachers, but then there's a teacher out there also. Like I would tell you that you spend 8 years on your table with academic work, you're all talking to yourself. you write your work, you interpret it, you get comments. But then when you cross to college for kids and teens, you're going to meet on a daily basis, perhaps 70 faces. And this is now beyond your work in school. And you have to put a public face, a smile with different expectations every day through the whole week. And the next week, another round is coming, different faces. So for me, it has really been a very important space to learn how to do public, I could call it public presentation, but also I'll call it effective communication, but also I would call it knowing how to present yourself in the public despite yourself and serve them to the expectation beyond yourself. Because I don't do that in school. If I'm not feeling fine, I'll walk into my office, I'll close off, and nobody will be asking me, we didn't see you smile today.
Yeah.
But here you are in the 3 months phase, and you don't need to tell people, I didn't feel fine the other night, but then I'm here before you.
Yeah.
So you learn to have that, I would call it a public face to serve people to the expectation beyond you.
It sounds like it's almost like a practice lab for how you show up in all kinds of settings, right? Like that's fascinating. I'm curious a little bit, Tony, about like where you see yourself if this program wasn't around. Would you still be doing the same thing, or would you be, leading a public radio station or any other job?
That's a really great question. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I would still be going down that path, but I would say that like I said, if it wasn't for College for Kids, it definitely pushed me to apply to UW Milwaukee. But I couldn't see myself in a different field at all. The architectural field is very enriching, and it's something that I truly connect to.
Mark, we oftentimes talk about, again, the pipeline of education. And this program seems like it fits a part of that beginning part of the pipeline. And we've talked a lot about on this show about how we kind of make frictionless exchange from different learning levels. How does this program fit, right, in how you conceive of that pipeline and kind of the frictionless back and forth and travel between different levels of education?
Well, thank you. And I live in that world an awful lot today. Multiple meetings. Yesterday, multiple meetings with our K-12 and technical college partners. This afternoon, further meetings with technical college partners. All part of that pipeline. Let's start with the end in mind. What does college do? What does it mean? There's a lot of enrichment experiences, as we've heard from Tony, but ultimately it's about alignment with careers, enriching and preparing people for the world of work. And I know there's other aspects and reasons to go to college, but that is a very fundamental one. And then if you start with that as the end, and if that's success, graduating, colleges across the country need to do a better job getting people through. And the reason that people don't get through a lot of times, there's some answers that are obvious. Sometimes it's financial and sometimes it's academic preparation. But I have found, and I absolutely believe, that a lot of it is the socialization and the mindset about the importance of college. And I say that with my own background where I didn't have that. And I came into it late in life, and I now see, wow, what I missed out on because I didn't have something like the College for Kids. I didn't have this type of earlier exposure to what career paths can be opened up or immersion in a field that really gives back. And that I think aptitude for learning can be unfortunately suppressed or snuffed out, where when you're younger, the play, the creativity, the fun, without grades, without some of the pressure, without some of the financial pressure, it really opens up a lot of worlds. So I think this program, in the context of what can really help with more people getting through post-secondary education, finding careers, finding education that aligns for them. This is a program that needs to be scaled even more dramatically. We need to have more than 1,000 students in a summer, considering the over 100,000 K-12 age kids there are.
For sure.
We need to do more than scratch the surface. So I'm really happy to showcase this program, have more people aware of it. And frankly, not to be selfish, other colleges, other folks can do these types of things too. It really is about learning, which is the great equalizer. It's really critically important that we do more of that in society.
Yeah, just kind of to go off of that, the teachers who teach for us, a lot of them are local K through 12 teachers in the public schools. There's also faculty and staff at the university that teach many of the classes for us as well. But I happen to know a lot of people in the education field, and one of the teachers that we've had over the years, she likens what she does for College for Kids as kind of a way to grow herself as a teacher for her school year, because it doesn't have the same restrictions that a school year might have. It doesn't have standards and tests that you have to meet in each section or each course area. So in the math class, you got to teach to the test. But in our program, it helps her as a teacher who likes to teach hands-on during her school year, even with those things. It gives her the chance to say, well, here are some hands-on activities that I can do in a program that maybe is just for fun. It's an opportunity for kids to learn in a fun way without those same expectations. So then she can then take that back and learn how to use that in her everyday classroom. So even our teachers, like you said, just what you were saying about what Jacqueline had said, I think everybody in our program learns, even the teachers.
That's really great. So Ben, as we're sort of wrapping up, I just want you to be able to plug where and when can people register for the program? What's the website? This is your time to shine and like getting all that information out there.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, so our registration for our summer program, which is a majority of what we do, about I would say that's our main part of our program. We do offer some school year programming as well, and that information can be found on our website as well. We have a program coming up in March on campus. It's called the Full Steam Ahead Fair. Registration for that will be open soon, and students can come for a one-day event for that. We do partner with some local after-school programs as well, but the majority of what we do is that those 8 weeks during the summertime for College for Kids. Our website will go live on February 4th. We're part of the entire university's changeover to the new 2.0 website, and we're really excited about it. It's going to make it a lot more user-friendly for our parents. So that's going to go live next week, Tuesday on the 4th. And then our registration opens on February 11th. And students and families can go to the website on the 4th. They can do some searching on what classes will be available to them. And then they can hit the Register Now button right on our website.
And as access is incredibly important, not only to the region, but also to the university, are there any scholarship opportunities for folks?
Yeah, so we've been fortunate to partner with a lot of organizations over the years to offer scholarship opportunities. We currently have 2 scholarship opportunities specifically for students K-5 through 5th grade, and then also for 6th through 12th grade. We have the opportunity, and we've already been accepting applications for both of those opportunities. We started accepting those applications on January 2nd, and we're going to start awarding them as soon as registration opens. And then we have a 6th through 12th grade scholarship through the Department of Public Instruction as well.
That's great. Okay, we have a few minutes left, and we like to end our show by asking everybody what's something that you learned or read about recently that was incredibly inspiring, fun, or whatever, or interesting. Tony, let's start with you.
That's a good question, and I put a lot of thought into that.
I love it.
But I haven't read his book yet, but I've seen a few podcasts, but I would say David Goggins, I would say he inspired me the most. Also someone who I would personally connect to. If you don't know who David Goggins is, he's a ex-Navy veteran who has taken on marathons, ultramarathons, triathlons, and face adversity and hard challenges. And when he sets his mind to a goal, he takes it head on, and that's something that I truly connect to.
I love it. That's great. Jacqueline, how about you?
Interestingly, mine is from the Bible.
Yeah.
Depending on what life path you're on, recently I'm so much close to the Bible. So recently I don't know, it's not because I was coming for this, but reading Matthew 18, somewhere in the verse, you read a chapter saying, whoever handles kids should handle them very well, because if these kids, angels, stand before my Father in heaven, such that if you don't handle these kids well, whatever might come out of that, the punishment might be severe. And reading this, it was interesting for me because growing up, I always heard people say, if you torture a child, you may never get an atonement for that sin. I'm like, oh, it's in the Bible. So for me, that was really captivating for me to say, oh, perhaps that's what the Bible is saying, that handle these kids just... it's a verse in Matthew 18, but I like the fact that we were being warned that handle these kids very well because their angels stand before God in heaven at all times.
Yeah.
So for me, that was quite interesting.
Inspiring too. Thank you so much. Ben?
Yeah, so I was definitely thinking about this. There's been a lot of things that have been on my mind with education recently. I think the chancellor was speaking a little bit about this. Kind of the it word out there is career pathway and career development for even for youth going into college. So they have a pathway as they get to college. I found this really interesting article about middle schoolers in Chicago that were at a girls and boys club that were working with local scientists to find the medical the medical positives that they found from goose poop, of all things, and how it has a possibility to help with the battle against cancer. So it's a really interesting study. And I mean, they found a lot of different, it's not that new that they've been finding medical properties in things like this, but the fight for cancer is one of the things that was out there. And what really struck me about it was it makes me think about what we do in our program is you're giving kids a chance to be around professionals or college educated people that can help them to see how they, as the next generation, can help to improve our society.
That's really great. Mark?
Well,
quickly?
As a multiple cancer survivor, that's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
And this is the generation, the kids coming through K-12 and on to college today are going to be the generation that solves cancer. So laying the tracks early is very inspiring. I think a comment and then what I've read, I think today is really neat because it shows people who work in the program, College for Teens and Kids, a graduate of the program, somebody who participated, then went on to UWM. I'd love to see us come back in the future and talk about people. And Tony, let's get you in teaching in the program in the future.
I love it.
So you've gone through the program, you've graduated from UWM. Let's do it. And Ben, I'm guessing there may be some folks who actually were in College for Kids that are today teaching. I think that's inspiring. But I'll just end with this comment. I'm always reading something. Yeah. The current book I'm reading right now is called Playground by Richard Powers. And it deals with, and he's an award-winning author, won a Pulitzer. He's pretty remarkable in terms of his books. But his book talks about, you kind of go through the main characters and you learn from a young age what kind of laid their tracks for what they do in life. And to a person, it was those early hands-on activities that really inspired them. It wasn't don't get me wrong, book learning is fine and everything, but that's what this program excels in, is that hands-on learning that you've been hearing about, the equipment, the 3D, and then learning how to do it in a digital format. And then, just the overall structure of this program is to create better futures. And that's what's so inspiring to me. And there's a lot of analogs for that around the world.
I love it. Thank you so much, Chancellor. And thank you all for joining us today on the Chancellor's Report. You're listening to 89.7 WUWM.
You've been listening to The Chancellor's Report, featuring Mark Money, Chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. If you'd like more information, go to uwm.edu/chancellor.